Morning, everyone. It's the fifth hour on Good Friday. That's in between hour. I'm having trouble getting online and staying online. It won't be long today because I think that we need to take a pause in everything on a day like today, a pause to reconsider what it is that we're dealing with and why we have mission. We have mission because of what Jesus did. And I'd like to call this an intermission day. Sorry, excuse the pun. I'm going to read from a book that's been very influential in Leslie and my life. You'll have to think about this because it'll come out the wrong way around. But it's a book by a Japanese thinker and missionary, Kosuke Koyama, and he was a missionary in Thailand, the place where we were missionaries. It was very helpful for us as young missionaries, learning how to slow down to 3 miles an hour. We'll see where that idea comes from as I read from his book today. He starts in this article on the 3 mile an hour God in his book, reflecting on the wilderness experience of the people of Israel. And this is very helpful for us, as you'll see. Now the people of God, he says, found themselves in the wilderness. They were away from their familiar streets, grocery stores, railway stations, dentists, banks, schools and hospitals. The familiar system and style of life were left behind. They felt increasingly precarious. The wilderness was no longer a phenomenon outside of them. Both promise and danger had come into their souls. They walked in the wilderness surrounded by danger of hunger, promise of manna. Here God taught his people that man does not live by bread alone, but that man lives by everything that proceeds out of the mouth of God. The people of Israel had this experience on behalf of all of us. A bit later he writes, but when something happens to us, and boy, something has happened to us, and we are hit by storm and are thrown into the precariousness of the wilderness, should we still say that people shall live by bread alone? Would we say so in the midst of the storm? Perhaps we would say so. But we would be less inclined to say so, writes Koyama. In the wilderness, our speed, he says, is slowed down until gradually we come to the speed at which we walk. 3 miles an hour. And I don't know about you, but I've experienced life being brought down to walking pace, to 3 miles an hour. And he goes on to talk about this experience as it relates to Jesus. Jesus Christ came. He walked towards the full stop. He lost his mobility. He was nailed down. He is not even at 3 miles an hour as we walk. He is not moving. Full stop. What can be slower than full stop? Nailed down. At this point of full stop, the Apostolic Church proclaims that the love of God to humanity is ultimately and fully revealed. God walks slowly because he is love. If he is not love, he would have gone much faster. Love has its speed. It is an inner speed. It is a spiritual speed. It is a different kind of speed from the technological speed to which we are accustomed. It is slow, yet it is lord over all other speeds, since it is the speed of love. It goes on in the depth of our life, whether we notice or not, whether we are currently hit by the storm or not, at 3 miles an hour. It is the speed we walk, and therefore it is the speed the love of God walks. And that is a wonderful insight from a Japanese Christian and missionary who understands the speed of the love of God. I wrote a poem that Leslie's going to help me to to read, which I hope helps. It certainly reflects what goes on in my mind, and I'd like to share it with you. Splintered bone.
Pain.
Blood.
Pain.
Sweat.
Pain.
Urine.
Pain.
Feces.
Pain.
Flies.
Pain.
Mockery.
Pain.
Curses.
Pain.
Laughter.
Pain. Compassion.
Pain.
Concern.
Pain.
Kindness.
Pain.
Confusion.
Pain.
Thirst.
Pain.
Delirium.
Pain.
Faith.
Pain.
Death.
Thank you, Leslie. If this is true, guys, if Jesus went through this for us, then how are we going to pass it on to someone else? You know, I can send you this material, we can discuss these ideas, talk through it with other people. We're not all going to survive lockdown. Most of us will, but some of us will not. And whatever happens after these dark days, as we walk into the resurrection life, after the dark grave days of this pandemic, it would be wonderful if we could carry this message, this mission on into God's world beyond us.